Governor J.B. Pritzker uses a question about the Bears to take a swipe at Mayor Brandon Johnson. Where does legislation to keep the team in Illinois stand with the spring session almost over? Plus, the mayor of Lyons kicks off an independent campaign for retiring Congressman Chuy Garcia's seat. Let's get to the point.
From Chicago's very own, with WGN political editor Taman Bradley, this is The Point.
Good evening. The clock is ticking at the Illinois State Capitol. 2 weeks left on the legislative calendar. Still little public movement on the top issues, from the budget to the new Chicago Bears Stadium. It's not uncommon for the most complex bills to be worked out behind closed doors, only to get a vote in the final hours of session. But the Bears are supposed to give the NFL an update on their search tomorrow. Patrick Finkston is author of the Illinois. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
It's down to the wire now. Can this legislation pass?
It can. It's just a matter of what version of the legislation it's going to be. It certainly seems like the Senate is going to make at least some changes, maybe significant changes to what the House passed. The governor sounds like he wants changes too after he panned the property tax savings in the House bill. The question is, what's the House going to go for if the Senate strips it all down? And we're running out of time.
And the governor's taking credit for the framework of the deal. Those are his words. And also, Patrick, today Governor Pritzker had choice words for Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Take a listen.
The mayor has no plan. He has come up with no plan at all about how the Bears would end up in the city of Chicago. So that's problematic. I'd love them to be in the city, but we're 3 years in now and he still has no plan. This is kind of typical. The mayor has shown up every spring at the end of session to pronounce what he would like to see happen.
In a statement, the mayor's office responded, for the past 2 years, the city has continued to advocate for a publicly owned stadium and has not supported the advancement of a privately owned stadium. The city's proposal remains the only plan centered on public ownership alongside a funding mechanism that does not burden property taxpayers while keeping the Bears in Chicago. Whoa. What was that all about?
Well, so first of all, the mayor has a pretty terrible legislative strategy for having a former state senator as his chief of staff. That's worth noting. Two, it's no secret that Pritzker and Johnson don't like each other at all, and their staffs don't like each other. There's been this really just grinding relationship between the two. Johnson has no plan. Pritzker's right. Johnson's plan from the start has been, hey, the Bears want to build a new stadium on the lakefront and it doesn't cost me anything. Great. That's not a real plan. And when the state said we don't have $1.5 billion in infrastructure to tear down Soldier Field, to build a new exit on Lakeshore Drive, the Bears started looking elsewhere and said, we're going to do Arlington Heights. And the governor said, all right, let's figure out a property tax plan for you. Indiana gets in and everything gets complicated from there. And now Brandon Johnson's on the outside saying, hey, don't forget about me.
Asking for the Illinois Sports Facilities Authority. Essentially, he would like Chicago to be able to take that over to be the mechanism to fund a stadium along the lakefront. But to your point, the Bears have said Chicago's not in the mix.
Well, and does he know that it comes with $500 million in debt from the Soldier Field renovation in 2002? I mean, it's not like he's just getting a golden goose here if he were to take that over. It sounds like they're just trying to stick their nose into things to muddy the waters a little bit and try and find some sort of needle to thread. I don't know what they're doing, and all the meanwhile, we are getting closer and closer to the end of session. If they don't get this thing done, there's no reason to believe the Bears don't sign the deal with Indiana June 1st.
Is it your sense that something will pop later this week, early next week, or will they really wait to the last day like they usually do?
So I'm not the best sourced person, but I'm a pretty good sourced person in the state Senate. Nothing's being talked about. Nothing's being said publicly. We have no idea where they're at right now.
I wanted to mention the gas tax. There's a lot of people were talking about it.
Suspend the gas tax.
Governor Pritzker has not been keen on talking about it, blaming President Trump for raising prices. And today he said he's not opposed, but the governor put the final decision on the shoulders of state lawmakers. Take a listen.
When we stop investing in our roads and our bridges and our water ports and our airports, that's bad for our overall economy. So we have to weigh those things and measure. As you know, several years ago, we suspended the increase in the gas tax. That's something that I know is being considered by members of the General Assembly in general. It's all in consideration, and there's, another 2 weeks, which in the legislature in May is like a lifetime.
If you cut through it, that sounds like no.
It's definitely no. Every Democrat is saying no because they're hanging the price of gas around the necks of Republicans and Donald Trump and making it a bad political issue for them a few months before an election. That's why they fumbled over themselves in 2022 to stop the inflation adjustment and campaign on it when Democrats were in control of the White House. Now they want to make Republicans look terrible. Meanwhile, they have an opportunity to knock 50 cents a gallon off of every gallon we buy, just like that. But they're unwilling to do it for politics.
Patrick Finkston of the Illinois. Thanks for waking up early every morning to let us know what's happening.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, and for coming in. Always
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. All right, we are back in 60 seconds. Illinois Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia infuriated some Democrats last fall with a last-minute announcement that he wouldn't run for re-election. The move allowed his longtime chief of staff to become the only Democrat on the March primary ballot. But there are at least 3 candidates vowing to make the 4th District contest more competitive by running as independents. And Christopher Getty is mayor of Lyons. He filed petitions this morning to get on the November ballot. Welcome to The Point.
Thank you very much.
You quickly came up with 20,000 signatures. What were folks in the 4th District telling you about this contest?
Well, it wasn't easy. We started in late February collecting the signatures. We collected nearly 20,000 signatures. And across the district, time and time again, people were saying they were upset. They believe the political system is rigged against them. The congressman tried to rig the system against them by choosing a successor. And we're giving people a choice in this election so that they have an option on who represents them in Congress.
Why you? Why do you want to go to Congress?
Well, I'm tired of watching 2 political parties fight while average Americans get left behind. Time and time again, we have our political parties that are fighting amongst themselves while the people in the center oftentimes are left behind without any voice in Congress. I'm running as an independent. I'm leaning into this race as an independent so that we give those people a choice on who represents them, and they'll receive fair representation in Congress.
There was a recent forum. You said you do not support abolishing ICE. Of course, a lot of immigrants live in the district. So what's your message to immigrants who were horrified by what they saw with Operation Midway Blitz?
Yeah, the Midway Blitz, which was conducted by the Trump administration, was very heavy-handed. We still, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, still serves a valuable purpose in this country. However, the way it was conducted throughout the district, throughout the 4th Congressional District, was not right. And I don't want to see that going forward. And as a congressman, I will step up when those things are brought on.
I wanted to ask you, your name comes up in the paper from time to time. It's not always good. You owed the government almost $157,000 because your divorce triggered tax liability on a home. You took out a $245,000 loan from your campaign fund. That's something that an official with the State Board of Election called unusual. Have you settled that tax lien? And how do you plan to respond if your opponents raise this in the campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I have settled the tax lien that has been paid. And I leaned into taking a loan from my campaign committee in order to settle those liabilities. But throughout this campaign, time and time again, accusations are going to be made from my opponents, and they're going to try to do everything they can to bring up issues that are really not important to this election, to divide the country, as we've seen at the national level. My primary focus is representing the district in a fair and responsive way, and I'm going to continue to do that. I've been the mayor of the Village Lyons for 17 years. I also serve as the township supervisor, and day in and day out, I always put the residents first, and I'm going to do that in Congress.
What's your path to victory? How do you get this done? I mean, you have Patty Garcia has been running for much longer before all the independent candidates could get in the contest.
Yeah, so with this race, it's really about a grassroots effort to bring people into the campaign. We saw that with the signature gathering process. We had to get nearly 11,000 signatures. We were worried we weren't going to be able to do that in the 90-day period. And to our amazement, we had hundreds of volunteers that came together to support the campaign, that bought into the campaign to get us successfully on the ballot. And we're seeing that now through donors coming online to support our efforts. And we see a very clear path to victory in November because people are upset with the two-party system that just wants to fight and divide each other. Essentially, you have two political parties that take their politics to the extreme, which leaves out most Americans. We're looking to represent those Americans.
Speaking of money, I have about 30 seconds left. How do you plan to raise money? How much do you think it will take? Will you take PAC money?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to take a significant amount of funding to be successful to the tune of $1 million or more. We are in communication with many different PACs that are looking to support our campaign. I'm a strong believer that you do have to align yourself with other entities in order to communicate your message across the district. It is a large district, and we're going to do that.
Okay. Mayor Christopher Getty, running in the 4th Congressional District as an independent. Thank you for coming in, and good luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you, sir.
All right, appreciate it. Before we go, a tip of the hat tonight to the Chicago Way podcast with John Cass. You'll hear snarky conservative takes from the former Tribune Pensman in every episode. This week's podcast was posted a few hours ago. It really is a fun, hardcore Chicago podcast. And that is the point. I'm Tamon Bradley. Michael Mater is back with more news tonight at 9 o'clock. The Forecasters is up next on WGN+. Good night.